Good day, everyone. It's Monday. It's 5:33. We're a little late. Dave is here. He's a frequent guest, making his first appearance ever on the Hybrid Live Show. Founder of the Deadly Dozen, with all of its labors and journeys, Jason Curtis. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
You're here for a few reasons. One is the unbelievable, exciting news that I'm coming over to do the event. But the other reason is to have you face-to-face with probably the greatest hybrid judge of all time. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and just throw it out there, right?
DEKA just said we need a czar of burpees. Let's get Dave. So we want to have you guys talk about that. But since this is big, exciting breaking news, and maybe some people listening or watching didn't know, I would love to talk to Dave about how this exciting news came up. I think I asked you if you had an official title. You told me you didn't, and I think I made one up anyway for the post because, little embellishment never hurt anybody. So I went with, what did I go with, Dave?
I don't know, head official, I think, something like that.
So, God, I've done a lot of posts since then. I'm busy. Dave Claxton appointed head official. I went with head official. Dave, why don't you talk about your new role? Should be standing from a sore butt because he's butthurt. Let's get to how you got pegged for this role, sir.
Yeah, I guess honestly, just frequently I would try to help. I mean, in the past I've helped with some wording on some rules and helped kind of been one of the sounding boards from Yancey that he uses when he wants to make some different decisions or to kind of just run stuff by people in the community. And basically just after the last event in Oaks, I'm like, it's kind of something that had been talked about a little bit before. And I'm just like, dude, I can help. And he agreed that it was time to give it a shot and to go for it. So we talked about it a bit more and worked it out and decided that in Ocala for the next DEKA FIT, I'll go down there and I'll be the head official, referee, whatever the official title will become for the event. Yeah. So yeah, it's time to man up and put my money where my mouth is. I mean, I've been bitching about this stuff a long time, so we'll go in there and see if I can help.
So I'm guessing that in previous conversations, Yancey said, I'd love to, but we probably don't have any money to bring anybody on. And I don't know that I can find someone to do this. So is this let's see how it goes in Florida and bring you back for the world champs? Or is it a temporary position? Is it a semi-permanent position?
Again, not completely discussed all the way, but I am under the impression that this is to be definitively or to be something for Ocala, and unless something goes completely wrong, then to continue on at Worlds. And it wasn't. I don't think it was ever a case we never really talked about money before, so I don't think it was ever a case of we never got into the will Spartan pay for it. Well, they won't at the time. It was just. They still were, I think, deciding if that's a necessity they needed or not. And I think finally it became, I don't know if I'd say clear is the right word, but Yancey decided that, I have too much on my plate and I need some help.
Nick Riker, welcome to the show. He says, Deadly Dozen, these nuts in your mouth. Welcome to the show, Nick Riker. We'll work on getting all the comments up later. I might have unchecked or unchecked something. Well, I want to say that I think I came out a little strong last time because I was so frustrated from Yancey saying like, hey, I'm too nice of a guy to do this and et cetera, et cetera. And I heard you guys talking on the last podcast and I still feel that way. And I hope that whatever happens, if you stay or don't stay, he finds someone every time to be this role. And whether it's a Robin or a Nelson or the other guy, or it's just, hey, put it in the stories. Hey, who wants to be head judge this weekend? And I'll give you a free DEKA or whatever they want. I hope they do something moving forward because it definitely can't be Yancey.
I believe that as well. Just because with Yancey, I think he's right. His plate is literally so full. He's doing so many things at the time that you just can't. He can't focus the attention there that it needs to be. I hope stays with me, right? Just because, quite frankly, I think consistency is key. And the more consistent they are, the better off people are going to be in their expectations of what is going to be clean and what's not. So whether it's me or someone else, I hope it keeps a certain amount of consistency.
So merging this over to our conversation about the Deadly Dozen, Jason said with his chat with me the other day, we're here to get people out and do this event, but we're going to be judged against the elites. We're going to be judged against the people that put in the top times. So Jason, what are you doing? Sure, fairness, and not horrible reps that I shared with wacky music on my feed the other day.
Yeah, so basically, going back to what I said is initially when I listened to your guys' chats, I was quite like, bloody hell, it was a bit harsh. And Dave sort of said there was no technique standards across the board. And to be honest, since rewatching it, I think he was quite fair. To be honest, he was quite. I didn't think he'd give me a shit sandwich, but actually he did. He was very supportive to the start, and then he was like, right, and this is shit. And then he actually was very positive, which I didn't sort of hear the first time round. But no, I think he's completely right in terms of, we started out with what we thought was going to be a small event and then try and build it year on year. And it realistically exploded in the UK. Now, our biggest problem is the fact that we have 6 movements in particular, like Dave identified, which are what we call rep labors, and they involve extension of either the elbows or the hips and knees, right? So Dave had a load of suggestions for that. However, the problem was that we wanted them fundamental movements. We wanted them to be, them core movements like hinge, squat, push, pull sort of type mentality towards it all. And essentially is a problem that we've got, but I sort of see it as you can see opportunities in problems or problems in opportunities. So as an opportunity for us to have this race, which is the most accessible and scalable in terms of athletics tracks and minimal equipment, minimal logistics. Now we've got an opportunity now to create a race where people go, wow, they judge it fairly. It's a brilliantly ran race and the judging is fair. However, it's going to be difficult. Now, where I disagree with what most people perceive as being the problem is education. Now, I actually don't see that as being the biggest problem. What I see as being the biggest problem is confidence. So we're getting volunteer judges. Normally, volunteer judges are quite nice, friendly people. They're giving up their day to come and support a race. And what you get is you get these fitness races running around the track, coming in doing goblet squats or deadlifts. They're covered head to toe in tattoos. Sometimes they are quite stressed. So they're usually quite pleasant people. However, when you're physically stressed and a judge goes, no rep, you might feel like telling them to F off, or they don't do that, but they might feel a little bit, angry at the judge or dissatisfied with the judge. So what we found is not that they don't understand the rules. It's just that little old Margaret might not want to go, no rep, stop what you're doing. That's it. You know what I mean? It's difficult. So I think what we have to do is really encourage a sort of strictness. So make sure that we educate all the athletes. We make sure we really reinforce that, look, these are the standards. First and foremost, it's up to the athlete to adhere to the standards. And then secondly, we've got to reinforce the education, of course, and we've got a rule book, we've got a YouTube series. We send out daily reminders on our Facebook group. But more than anything, we've just got to instill in the judges that, have the confidence to no rep people. And if we can build that culture, then that's what will be key, in my opinion.
Your first year's worth of events are all at the same location. Are you getting some of the same judges?
Yeah, so we have judges come from all over the country, which is crazy to us, right? So we have quite a good volunteer pack. We give them a T-shirt, an Amazon voucher, we feed them, and it's a good day out. It's not a particularly long day, although it's a full working day, really. And it's a good atmosphere. But we have people traveling 3 or 4 hours just to volunteer at the events. Obviously, I own a gym in Macclesfield, which is where these events are. But what we plan to do, we've got about 200 people on the volunteer database, probably more now, that are coming from all over the country. But obviously, we are getting them core people that volunteered 3 or 4 times. Now, I would say the standard as a whole is the feedback we get from the judges is always great, but generally the feedback is always about how supportive the judges are. But what we need to really reinforce is just, right, be stricter. And I think it's more culture than it is education. But time will tell. Obviously, genuinely, Dave's the expert when it comes to judging, so we'll see.
And in fairness, we want to talk back to what Jason said when he was talking with you before, and I did reach out to him before. It was because when I saw the way the event layout, he's absolutely right. I saw incredible potential for it. The whole idea of being on regular tracks and going place to place was something that I've been saying for years beforehand. As soon as DEKA and HYROX started coming out, I'm like, why is nobody on a 400-meter track? They're everywhere. So I didn't understand that. So when I saw what Jason had in mind, I thought it was fantastic. I do stand by some of the things I said about it, but yeah, he's right. Culture makes a big difference. You do need the education, but the culture will make a big difference too. And the athletes need to know that you are serious and that you're going to play, especially the elites. If the elites don't buy that you're going to no rep them, they're going to cut every corner they can, no matter what culture is involved, because they're trying to win. That's their job, is to win. And so they're going to take their cut their corners. Go ahead, man.
Something, Jason, you and I talked about, I think we talked about already, maybe offline, maybe we were texting, I can't remember, but I said, you know, before you kind of had this idea about pre-assigning when people are going to run, and how about if you have your elite men, women relays teams all go first. So you do all the singles, but the elites go first. Then when you switch to doubles, people who want to get a good time go for, so that you have a certain level of judging for, and then everyone else you just kind of encourage to do well. And of course, you know, rep them once in a while, but for the most part, they're out there for a fun day. But these people who are trying to get these best times, what about putting them at a certain time of day and knowing that judging is the top tier?
Yeah, so at the moment we completely randomize wave times, which works quite well. It fits the brand of Beat the Race, which is you versus the race. But we can absolutely establish the elite. And realistically, we had a seeding time, which worked quite well, but we just don't need it now. And you take 500 people, which is our average race now, and try and get seeding times off all of them. It just doesn't happen. So that will come once we establish who the elite competitors are. So we are taking all the results, which are live every race. So you can actually watch athletes as they go around. We collect every 400-meter time, every labor time. And that goes into our database. Every one of the results is on the website. When we release the app, it'll have global leaderboards. Now, we can do championships races, or we can have elite waves, or we could have a deadly dozen, which is the top 12. What we can also do is we can have mats that are set aside for elite competitors. We could have bands that they wear, and the judges on their mats could be paid judges that are going to be, you know, so people always argue, well, should it not be the same standard across the board? But obviously, like I said to someone within my group, that a premiership, so a world-class referee, whether it be football or tennis, is going to be at a much higher standard than a Sunday league football club or soccer club, as you call it in the US. So it's just a higher standard of judge for a higher standard of competition. However, of course, there's going to be the same rules across the board. So this is something that we're just going to have to develop as we go. Right now, the main priority is maximize the standard across the board so that we're respected by the people that are watching and go, you know what, that's a fair race. So I always say that our culture should be do what's fair to every other athlete. Make the decision that's fair to the rest of the athletes. If someone looks across and said, you know, seeing someone repping, is that fair? That's the key.
Do you think for next year that might be something you do? You have, because I know that this thing's growing pretty quickly and you're trying to get in other countries, but let's just say the UK alone, do you want to get to, hey, everybody come out, and then last race of the season, September, blah, 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 this is the championship. So you qualify a deadly dozen, maybe in every age group, or, you know, maybe some prizes for elites. Like, what are you thinking for that as this thing grows?
Yeah, so we've got 8 races next year in the UK, and we will be going international next year. And what we'll do is we'll have a championship race, and we'll hopefully be able to run them in different locations around the world. Maybe there's multiple races because obviously the cap's at 500. But I actually think that 500 is probably a good number for a championship, and that's when we'll get the sponsors and whatnot to give cash prizes and really ramp up the awards, because that's something we're building on currently.
But I'm saying you already have the schedule up for next year, right?
Yeah.
But you can add more
without a championship.
Without a championship.
Oh yeah,
you can add a bunch more, because you're going to get basically like more affiliates, if you will, who want to help you put on more events at their gym in whatever. I can't think of English towns, but Brixton.
Yeah, so what the model that we've got for Deadly Dozen is we've got the gym meets, so track meets and the gym meets. The track event is the big event. The gym events are your strong, labor only, your row version, your ski version, your air bike, and your bike erg version, and they're gym events. The main track event is what we're going to do in the UK is we're developing race directors that can then. So there's only I'm married with 3 kids. There's only so many weekends that I can do. So next year I will be the race director at every event. To run more events while me still having a happy family life, I need to develop more race directors. What we've already got in Dubai, for example, is a role like strategic director, where they're going to go in and take over sort of operations. So director of operations in Dubai. We're looking for the same in America. We're looking for the same all over Europe. We've got our legal team has developed all the infrastructure for that. So in the UK, we'll probably just hire race directors that climb up through our hierarchy. So we have affiliate gyms and coaches. Then we have ambassadors, race coordinators, race directors. They can climb that hierarchy, and it allows us to run basically as many races as there's demand for. So our goal is to obviously sell out races. But if a race sells out, we aim to put 2 more on. So we don't want it to be 3 to 5 races in the UK. We want 25, 50 races in the UK, and the same model in various countries around the world. So we're going for, obviously our capacity is around 500, comfortable. So it just flows, it runs itself. Our aim is to, obviously HYROX has got 100. Our aim is to literally get, thinking of the clouds here, obviously overreaching here, is to get thousands of races every year.
Well, as we alluded to, I am coming over. I will be doing my fun media stuff that I do. I'm also participating. Do you know who has selected me as a partner?
Oh, you got to be running.
Yeah. I think Ian's doing October.
No, it's sadly the same weekend as DEKA, so Ian won't be there.
Okay. So who are you running with?
Well, I thought he would guess. I thought Jason would guess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he messaged me after, quite excited. Well, yeah, I was going to select. To be honest, I was going to put you with our kit guy, but I was worried he might end up. He's actually a lot fitter than people perceive him to be. He's 50 years old, but he's.
Well, the gentleman who selected me, who said I'll be your partner, is also much fitter than me. It's Matt Rigby. He's a 2-time Europe's Tough Mudder champ, and we've kind of known each other on Instagram. But I said, you realize running with me, we're not going to set world records. He says it's fine. Then he proceeded to send me workouts. He's like, all right, well, here's a couple things to get you started. So
he's keen. He's keen as riggers.
So he sent me. He created a RAM version of the labors for the Deadly Dozen. Let's see, what did he send me? Where'd it go? Oh, we've been chatting all day. Jog 400 meters.
Don't surprise me.
I think he meant run. I think jogging kind of like I do jog, but it just sounds like you would never make a workout where it says jog. Then 30 deadlift, and then alternating lunges, and then he called it a hang snatch, but it turns out he meant just ground to overhead.
Yeah.
And then walk 200 meters, and then squat, push press, run, bear crawl, which is definitely not something I've done in a long time, but I know it's part of your event. Anyway, it's a whole thing. It's basically a little Deadly Dozen DEKA workout. So I'm excited to try that.
I actually got a question for Jason. Oh, sorry, go ahead, bud.
Go on. No, go on.
I said, I have a question for you about your gym events, right? Because you say you got pretty much a gym event for like bad weather or where you can do without running. But you mentioned subbing the running for like ergs, a row erg, a bike, or whatever the case may be. And I don't know how, if they're going to be different in every gym or if it's going to be like consistent from one to the other, kind of a same model. But my question is, when you run, if you're going to replace the runs with the ergs, doesn't that really limit how many people you can get through? Because I mean, most gyms only have like, say, anywhere from 3 to 6 of the same erg. And then people have to keep going back to that same one after every labor. So if you had like a buy-in and a buy-out instead, wouldn't you be able to filter more people through that way?
Yeah, so that's another variation. So looking at the, say, strong, which is just the labors, we can get comfortably 20 people an hour, and it's a very profitable event for gyms. Now, when it comes to the erg events, realistically, these are probably going to be reserved for some of the gyms that are almost like super gyms. So there's more and more propping up now that have 10 ergs. So they have 10 ski ergs, 10 bike ergs, 10 row ergs, because off the back of HYROX, gyms are sort of creating that model. So yeah, realistically, in terms of the big erg events, they're likely to take place in a few big gyms around the country, which is probably best. And then the strong will be the most accessible gym event in terms of the smaller affiliates. We've already got about 40 affiliates across the country. And then, yeah, like other variants, because it's endless, really, that's why we created it, you know, weight plate, dumbbells, kettlebells, and the movements, no ergs, no sleds, nothing in between, fundamental movement patterns for the main Deadly Dozen race, the track event. Then we can supplement the runs with row, ski, cycle. Obviously, it could be a mix. Another variant is just like you say, we could have a buy-in of 5K, for example, or 3K or 2K, and we'll likely introduce all them variants. So when we have the app, we're going to have over 40 fitness tests. It'll probably end up being closer to 60, where we're going to have everything from a 100-meter run up to a marathon. You don't have to do all the fitness. Obviously, if you've run a marathon, you input your time. You have your different Deadly Dozen race variations that might just have a buy-in and a buy-out before the strong. And then what the app's going to do is analyze all that data and sort of give you predictions and spit out training recommendations. So it'll say, you know, off your 1 rep maxes or 3 rep maxes, you're strong, but when we look at your max aerobic speed on a runner or a rower, you're actually not very aerobically powerful. And what the app will do will analyze all these results. So we want the track event, which is on tracks, to be the primary event. That's where we put all the budgets, the big event, and then everything else. We want to make sure that people realize this is a gym event. This is more of a gym meet. It's like an interclub. It's not a big event, but it's there to supplement the training for the Deadly Dozen, obviously to maximize gyms' retention and onboarding of clients, and just keep it going throughout the winter months in the UK. Obviously, we can do it in any weather. So if it's raining in September, Matt, you will be doing it. Even if it's torrential, it's fine. The reason we don't do it through the winter in the UK is because the center of the track can get quite boggy, and we just don't want to turn into an OCR race. Obviously, what we'll do then is just go to the warmer climates. Like, so if we can make this work, in my opinion, in the UK, which has like the worst weather in the year in the world, then why shouldn't it work in the States or in warmer climates like Spain and Italy?
All right. Well, we're going to move on. Jason, would you like to stay on? I know it's late over there. What is it? Is it 11 o'clock over there?
Yeah, it's coming up to 11. It's no issue for me. Like I say, this is when I get all my work done, having young kids. I mean, is it relevant for me to stay on, or am I just going to be a third wheel?
No, we're going to, well, you know about fitness. We're going to talk about hybrid fitness athletes. We're going to talk about, here's just a quick little thing that's bugging me. These secondary HYROX sales went on, okay? Or they're about to go on. Second day Vegas, 2-day events, Houston. And so somebody said, hey, did you already sign up for Vegas? And I was like, I don't fucking remember, but I'm sure I can log into HYROX and it'll tell me what events I've signed up for. That is not the case.
No.
I have to go through my emails, right? And I have like 10,000 emails from HYROX because I have all their weekly emails. And plus, if I type in the word HYROX, there's emails everywhere for the word HYROX. So how about that for a little fix, tech people out there? That should be a thing. Yes, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have the same thing too because I sign up for so many things, I forget what the hell I'm signed up for. And unless that's why I try to remember now to actually print them off and I put them on my dresser so I can shuffle through and see. But yeah, I forget all the time. So it'd be nice. I know that, you know, Spartan has one of those where you can log into your profile and see everything that you've signed up for and reseed it or print off a thing.
So does race sign up. So does
Yeah.
like Athlink. So does like everything. So get on it, HYROX. Fix that.
That would be very nice.
Yeah, I was a little butthurt today actually with the HYROX released 2 Manchester events today in the UK, and they had an early affiliate link for gyms, but they didn't send. So my gym's a HYROX affiliate, and they didn't send the affiliate link to me. I obviously chased up the UK affiliate managers, and they said, "Oh, it's just been bouncing from your email," even though I get all their other emails. So even though I've been a sort of paying affiliate, we missed all the spaces still for the January Manchester one. So obviously, I agree that it shouldn't just be the affiliates that have access, because in the UK, if you just give the affiliates all the tickets, they will just sell out to all the affiliates, and that sort of creates an elitism that you've got to be involved with in an affiliate gym to get a HYROX ticket, because they literally sell out in minutes now in the UK.
Right,
but obviously, go on.
But even in America, if I want an affiliate link, I can get one. You know what I mean? It's not very hard. People are like, nope, can't share it with you. It's only my gym. People are happy to help their friends out. So
no,
it's kind of a silly thing.
It's changed now in the UK, because after Birmingham, what they did is they sold about 85% of the tickets. And then the actual Birmingham event sold out in 6 minutes, and everyone was really upset. And there was a lot of debating around whether they should allow affiliates to have so many tickets. I mean, I've paid 1,800 quid this year to be an affiliate, so 150 British pounds a month. And really, the main reason I'm an affiliate, because we just push fitness racing as a whole, is to get sort of guaranteed sign. That's the real seller for me, is to that me and my members can get on HYROX. Obviously now, realistically, I'm like, well, what am I paying for? Because it's not their fault. I don't use all the online stuff, and we don't really promote it that much through the gym, because we just do fitness racing and strength conditioning. But yeah, we in the UK, it's not the case. I don't know what percentage they've allowed for affiliates, but because I was 2 hours late to get to it, they were sold out for January completely. So me and the majority of my members didn't get in, even though we're a gym affiliate.
The reason I highlighted this comment,
there is a ballot still.
The reason I highlighted this comment, Brendan King, is Brendan, as soon as I hear about a HYROX event, I do put it in my calendar because I have to think about traveling to it. So it's in my calendar regardless, right? Chicago, Vegas, as soon as it was announced, boom, I count off Friday to Sunday. And I'll put dad traveling ? So my wife knows. And then if I'm actually going, I take away the question mark. But anyway, Google Calendar does not work for me. So Jason, you're saying that had you gotten it in time, they would have cut you off at what, 10 tickets, 20 tickets? What you said they're limiting?
Well, I think they're limiting a percentage. So if they had 1,000 tickets, are they giving 25% to affiliates? Are they giving 50 or 75%? I don't know. But I know last time, the perception of what I seen in the HYROX UK group is that people felt that they gave too much to the affiliates.
Right, but the bigger the shit, the more it's going to get shared. Like, people just tell their friends. That's what people do with codes and links. That's what those things exist. There's no way to be like, oh, only use it unless you did individual codes.
I mean, they did codes for the gym. They changed it slightly this time, but I just think that, to be honest, the culture changed a little bit more this time, because I was seeing codes flying around everywhere. They were in the HYROX group. It was people like, here's my code, use it. This time, a lot of people were far more protective with their codes because it was such uproar last time. So I don't know what the percentage was, but when I logged in 2 hours late because they sent me the email and said, oh, it's been bouncing, sorry. And I don't know why. They, it was gone. But there was still, they've actually released an event they haven't done in the UK before, which is Manchester again in November. But that's my anniversary, so I don't want to get divorced.
I heard you were taking your wife front row Oasis tickets for her birthday. That's what I thought. That's what I heard. True.
My wife isn't, like I say, my wife isn't that into music, to be honest. I mean, I like Oasis, but I'm not mad like a lot of people are. I really like Oasis, but I'm not fussed.
What's the best show you've ever been to, Jason?
Metallica.
Which one? Which tool?
It was at Sonisphere, which is a festival in the UK. It's
What
like
year?
similar to Download Fest.
Like
What year?
What album? What year? We're just trying to get a idea.
Oh, this would have been like 2013. 2013, I seen Metallica. I don't go to a lot of festivals, to be honest, or a lot of shows. But I always wanted to see Metallica, and it was definitely well worth seeing. I think one of the other bands, like Alice in Chains or something, said, if you've not seen Metallica before, you'll realize why they're the biggest band in the world. And it was a little bit like watching the other bands was like watching, sort of amateurs, when obviously a lot of it's the money they have behind it. But you could see why, even if you weren't into metal or heavy rock, I'm quite eclectic. Even if you weren't into that type of music, you'd understand why, okay, I get why these guys are so big. It was impressive, like really impressive.
Yeah, I've seen Metallica a couple of times. What about you, Dave?
I don't usually go to the big concerts. My favorite of all time would have been at a local bar watching Jeff Healey live. And it was probably the most amazing show I've ever seen. If you've never heard of Jeff Healey, check him out.
But you never went to Metallica when you had hair? You never went to Metallica?
No, I never got to see Metallica. And I like Metallica. I got to see Aerosmith a couple times, but never Metallica. I don't like going to the big concerts and everything. I can deal without it.
Okay. I thought maybe in your 20s when you were young.
No, man. I still would rather go to the local bars and see
I get
things like that.
All right. Time to break out the top 20. Are you ready?
All right, yeah. Who's 10? That was the question, right? Who's 10?
Well, you want to see what the guesses were?
Okay, yeah. Tell me who guessed 10. I don't even know if I was to guess 10 for the women or the men. Was it the women?
It was the women that had the highest new face ever. I think it's the highest new face ever. I can't think of anyone else that debuted that high.
Well, I got to go Catherine then.
So here were the guesses. Hang on. I'm really bad at Instagram, apparently. The guesses were Fozzy Fit, and then Fozzy spelled F-O-Z-Y, and then her whole name, Catherine Fassbender. And then someone said Tia. And then Terra Nova Trainer said Chikuan Brisbane, and that's the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Joanna Wittrick debuts at number 10 because she's really, really fast.
Yep.
Did you pay attention to the speedy new HYROX ladies, Jason?
No.
Oh, Smooth on the
really,
Loose also guessed Joanna. What's that?
I think my response was no, not really, to be honest. I'm not yet keeping track of all the top athletes, if I'm honest. I mean, I know most of them, follow most of them, but yeah, it's not something I follow intently.
Well, I think you may want to reach out to some of those people. Hey, would you love to try out the Deadly Dozen?
Maybe a Kate Davey.
Yeah,
or a Zara Piagiani.
Yeah, to be honest, it's something we've got some of the sort of good UK athletes, especially age group and stuff like that, and they've all reached out, and we're starting to get noticed by some of the more elite athletes. But yeah, it's in all honesty, I'm just waiting to build up a little bit. The more sort of authority we gain, I don't like to contact people too early where they're like, who the hell are you? I want it to be a point where they go, okay, you've built some foundation here, you've got some real value before I reach out. I think it's the best way to do it.
All right. Well, I was trying to do this where I could scroll up maybe, but I forgot to put this.
And I can say that I definitely had Joanna on my list, but I do not believe I had her in 10th.
All right. Let me see if I can do this very quickly. Because I wanted to be able to like scroll up slowly rather than just reveal the whole thing. We could go up from the bottom, but I forgot to. I meant to put it on a web link post.
There we go. Matt is doing technical things.
Yeah, I can't do two things at once. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Pausing.
Dramatic pause. Okay, there's the men. Hang on a second. We're going to go down here, do the women.
So, Jason, what are you finding on your events that people, what do they like the most? What's their favorite labor? What's the one that's getting, actually, I shouldn't say what's their favorite. What's the one that makes everybody cringe and everybody go like, oh, God, it's going to kill them? bear crawl, really?
Yeah, bear crawl. Yeah, by far. Yeah, it's number 9, and it's longer. So I consider burpee broad jumps to be more taxing. So they were 60 meters, and the way it works with the 30-meter lanes, we had to jump onto 120 meters, which I wanted it to be arduous. So I sort of built the race in a way where it's quite lower heavy to start. You have a transition with a front carry, then towards sort of the middle of the second half, which is very shoulder heavy, you've got a massive bear crawl, and it destroys people. At the moment, it's by far the most hated.
And that is one where I don't know if you took my suggestion or had the same idea, but in the wording, the rules of the 1 hand and 1 foot on the ground at all time.
Yeah, we did
Everybody
that.
wonders how you judge it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, bear crawl. We've not had a lot of issues with it. The only issue some people think is if like people have quite high hips, that means they're not loading their hands as much. But we're quite flexible with hip position, as long as both the hands and feet are loaded. And like you said, 1 hand, 1 foot always has to be on the floor and whatnot.
All right, Matt. Are you ready? Matt has now moved on. He finished one thing. We made him wait. Now he's moved on to another thing.
All right, here we go. So as you can see, coming in at number 20 for the men, Grayson Kilgore, brand new on the list. Congratulations, Grayson.
Deservedly so.
19, Rylan. Rylan has moved all the way down. I think he moved down 4 or 5 spots last time. He moved down even further this time. He hasn't raced, and that is why, because this is based on the most recent results. So hopefully Rylan gets back soon.
I think he's had some improvements. So I think we're going to see him soon. I
really
heard he might go to Amsterdam, maybe.
I hope so. All righty. Scrolling a little bit. We've got Kevin Gregory holding strong at 18. Megita, it says new, but obviously he has been on the list before. He fell off. He's back on. Did he race recently? Why did he come back?
Yeah, he had a really good performance at a DEKA FIT. I think he ran a 30-30.
All right.
So right up there with a good top 10 time, and seemingly still not quite at 100% fitness. So I think if he maintains health, he may climb up some more too.
Then we've got Tim Vinish holding his own. We've got Isaac moving up 1, Rich moving up 1.
I do question how Rich moved up 1.
I don't know.
I'm not bad mouthing Rich. I'm really not. I think Rich is amazing, and he's on my list too. I'm just like he hasn't done anything since Worlds.
Well, apparently he talks a good game.
Well, he does, and he is damn good.
Let's move up the next few. This is kind of what happens every month, though. These kind of middle 10 to 16 men's and women's, usually just kind of like up, down a couple. So I said we took the summer off in the post. That wasn't the plan. It's just what happened. We just realized there was kind of no point. So now we're in full fall HYROX mode. We will definitely be back to doing this once a month.
And calling up 3, that makes sense because he put in a couple of strong DEKA fits. I think he's got probably the second best time this year.
What did Bo do to go up to? I don't even know what Bo did.
No, I don't think anything. I think he might have gone up 2 from others going down.
Probably, exactly.
Yeah.
Dylan moved back up 3 spots. He had a little bit of a dip after HYROX Worlds, but then he won his regular DEKA Fit and the DEKA Ultra Cup back to back. So
yeah,
good job.
not only like he has the best time this year for DEKA Fit, and what he did at the Ultra was just mind blowing.
Nick Riker wants to know why he's not in the top 20 this month. Sorry, buddy.
Can I throw it there, Nick? I put you in there. I'm just saying.
Brendan King is on the comments right now. Brendan is our stat guru. He helps me put these together. And usually I'll put who else got votes and who's in for the first time, and I didn't have time to do all that. So also receiving votes is if you just want to type him in there, Brendan, because I don't want to have to go and find it. Nick, do a quick column there. Who else got votes on the men's side? Don't do it for the women yet. So ready to move on to the women. Anything else you want to say about this last list prior to the massive fall HYROX season?
All pretty standard. I mean, all the top 5 guys are still up there because of the performance at Worlds at HYROX, and that one does deserve to hang around a bit. I mean, that was a massive event. It is the biggest race of the year. So the fact they did so well, should keep them up there.
All righty. All right, Brendan, we'll come back in a minute to his comment. All right.
Although that is definitely not the order I had them in.
Okay. Coming in on the women's side, on the bottom, we've got Jade and Chris. Chris, again, has just kind of slowly been moving down as she hasn't raced. She's been injured. Jade, I don't think, has done anything since Worlds, maybe. But there's Catherine Fosbender coming in at number 18, brand new. Welcome to the party. Fozzie Fit. Alina stayed the same. Then this next batch, Maria, Morgan, Seika. Morgan went down. Didn't Morgan?
I don't understand that. I mean, Morgan's put on a better performance than she did before. I thought, if anything, Morgan should have went up a little bit from the last time because not enough quality DEKA competition. Yeah, Marcus, you're right about that. But the nice thing with DEKA is we can just look at the times because they are relevant from race to race.
Yeah, but Marcus's point, I think, on Nick, who's crying.
Yeah, but Nick put in good times.
So here we go. Here's the other men who got votes. Let's move back down a bit and go. So here's who else got votes: Nick, Jarrett Newby, Lucas Dorath, Sadiq Alfatori, Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Joffrey Lupo, probably.
Joffrey Wasson.
Come on, you know Joffrey Lupo.
This is a lot of people. All got votes this month.
Yeah.
Which Hedy Wiersma? Is it Cole Schwartz that got votes? Glenn Race got votes. Good job, Glenn.
Race? Oh, way to go, Glenn.
Who's Tom R?
I'm not sure. Sadiq is one that jumps out there, as I think people have forgotten about him, and he has been strong.
I hope he comes back around. I hope he races.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Nick deserves to be up there. Like I said, I voted for Nick.
Cole Washington and Tom Rogers.
Okay. Cole Walkington. Oh my God. He was amazing in 4-way.
Who's Tom Rogers?
Tom Rogers. I'm not entirely sure.
Is it Tomei Rogers? You want to hear something hilarious, Jason Curtis? You want to hear something hilarious?
Go on.
I'm going to take the list down for this because it's pretty hilarious. I was reading what you wrote to me, and we were talking about the locations I might attend, what hotel I might come to. And you said one of them was a bit of a balash, and I Googled balash, and I was like, is that an English term, balash? And then I realized you said ball ache, but you had it as one word, so I thought it was a balash because I didn't want to feel like a dummy not knowing, so I Googled it. Because
it's a ball ache.
Sometimes you guys use terms I don't understand. He's like, oh, it's
a
bit of a balash.
The English terms.
I got caught on one of the English terms in one of my first episodes I ever did of OFX.
What'd you say?
It means something very different in the UK than it means in Canada. And you can Google it and you can find out. The term is cottaging.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to say that.
Yeah, exactly. So
I know what cottaging is.
In Canada, cottaging is going to the cottage and, to the lake and swimming and going to the cottage. In the UK is very, very different. So
yeah.
Look it up.
Only Anthony voted for Tom. Only Jack voted for Cole.
Well, I would.
Sadiq and Joanna most likely to move to the top 5 by the end of the year. Marcus, that's a gauntlet you threw down, dude. Sadiq has to race though. He may not race as much. It's a lot. He said he may not do it, so we'll see. Sadiq story we're talking about.
Okay, Marcus, you can answer this, and obviously so can you guys. Does Joanna come out of Hong Kong with a world's berth?
Well, what does she have to do? Win?
Well, okay, so my
she has to have a time, right? You have to win.
No, she's got to be top 3. She doesn't have to win. She's got to be top 3. But however, Meg is likely going to race in Amsterdam, and then she's going to Hong Kong too. I'm guessing she probably is the only one to do both. So Joanna would have to probably come top 4.
Yeah, I think that's a guarantee. Then I would put her second behind Meg. I mean, we're going to see what she does with the big lights. She's had fun down there in Australia with her pals, and now it's time to shine. But I think she'll show up.
I think she's got a legit shot.
All right, let's go back to that list I had.
I want to know who the other women that got votes there.
All right, well, let's do the rest of the list, and then Brendan, get ready. Don't type it in yet. Just get ready to cut and paste.
It's a lot of pressure.
I know. All right, where did my thing go? So bad at the technology. Okay, so There's Catherine Fassbender, and then we had these guys. We didn't know why Morgan dropped.
No, fools.
There's
And again, that might
Joanne.
be a case of Morgan dropping for other people jumping in.
Right. So then as we slowly move our way up, yeah, it's a lot of the same. Top 10 kind of doesn't move. Look at that. Megan, Lauren, Vivian, Viola, Linda, Kate. So nobody did well enough in DEKA and or other hybrid fitness events to crack the top 6.
No, I think in order to have done well enough at a DEKA recently to get up there, it would have had to been something where one of the top 3 had shown up and you beat one of those top 3.
Yes,
Or
I would
perhaps
agree.
put in like a record time or something like that. I mean, Catherine put in a great time. I think it has her in the top 5 or 6, and that just got her on the list there. So if she had been there, and say even if she had beat a Morgan or a Tara, someone like that, that would have bumped her up even more. But to get anywhere near Meg, Lauren, and Vivian, I mean, you got to do something pretty freaking amazing.
All right, Brendan, I think we're ready. Oh, actually, you know what? I have it. I just found the sheet. Good for me. Oh, he's ready.
There we go.
Jana Liebenstadt, Alondra, Brooklyn, first time on the list.
I will one up. I gave Brooklyn a vote.
She got 2 votes.
Okay, cool.
She got a 16 and a 19.
Her performance at the Ultra was, again, just amazing.
Katie Duke, Jess Petro, who's been in the top 20 before. Lisa Proctor, I think she's been around that bottom 20 before. Miriam, Lauren R. also been in the top 20 before. So these have all been people that have hung around 19 or 20. They've never quite gone above there. And Rebecca Nather. Looks like that's it.
So my question, do you think we get Chris back in a hybrid race this year? So does she come back in?
I mean, she just was like living her best life, like she's always done. Her and your buddy Austin just crushing life out there. I don't know if she feels like it. I guess her and Ryland are the biggest question marks for the HYROX season. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Chris's health, I think, is a lot better. I think
But they both have health issues, don't they?
Well, yeah, Ryland's. I think Chris's was more of an injury, whereas Ryan's would be like a health issue. So I think Chris is recovered. I've seen her doing some more running stuff and everything. So I wonder if she'll come back or not. She, like you say, she does her own thing, and I would love to see her come back. It's always good to have her in the mix.
Yeah, I think she was pretty disheartened by being owed a lot of money for a long time.
Yeah.
Even though we know HYROX pays on time, I think, Spartan being late and DEKA being late, I think all that kind of just like bummed her out. She might be like, I don't know.
No, I've never gotten money from HYROX, obviously. So I do think I don't know they're not like paying on the podiums or nothing, but they do pay fairly promptly, don't they?
HYROX?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody except somebody messaged me when there was stuff going on for the World Champs. Moving on, apparently there's a DEKA Ultra this weekend that people knew about, but not me and you didn't know about it. Janelle told you about it. I learned it from listening to you. And then, so what's up with this DEKA Ultra?
Again, like I said, it's a very small one. I think it was one of the ones that they kind of decided a little bit last minute to do it, just as I don't want to call it a gift, but as a thing for the people who really wanted to make it to Fort Wayne but couldn't make it. So they're just giving them another chance to jump on one, because I can't imagine that with the lack of fanfare and publicity for it that they're gonna get a great turnout for it. And I don't think there's any money for this one. I think this is just I don't even know that there's an elite and open. I think it's just everybody go and do your thing. I could be wrong. I haven't done all the it's been a holiday weekend, so I haven't done all the digging on it and make sure. But yeah, it's definitely more of a thing to, hey, sorry you missed Fort Wayne. Here's another chance to give it a try. How many do you think they should have a year? Because they're definitely going to have it again next year.
Well, this came up before, and I think it's something that a very small group of people really, really like. Mm-hmm. And so how much time and effort you want to put into it. And if they don't have to stay open any longer because they started earlier in the day, then I guess it's just about a few more refs, a few more volunteers? Is that the difference?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's just about being open for another day, right? Like I don't really think you need a ton more volunteers than you do normally,
because they don't have the overcrowding, right? That
No,
HYROX
no.
does. They have
No.
the room. So if
Yeah.
you just started earlier, again, I think you're going to have people that get by on some pretty easy, what do you call it? Repping situations, right? So, by the way, people talk about you can walk and finish it. I thought to be an official finisher, you had to have it done by a certain time.
You do. But so I'll use our friend Nicole for an example. Nicole walked, I'm going to say 95% of it. She may have run a little bit. She can correct me. But she was like, there was like a 10-hour cap for the.
And this time it's an 8-hour cap.
And this time,
they start right after the first wave.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I think Nicole walked it in like 8 hours.
Has anyone approached you, Jason, and said, I want to do the 144. I want to do a dozen dozens.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've already programmed that in the manual. So we have youth versions. So we've already got youth versions for under 10s, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. So we've programmed all the youth variations that goes right down to like 40-meter runs and 1 kilo dumbbells. And then we've also got what's called like the ultras, where we've got a 5K, essentially 4.8K, so 12 laps in between each labor. And then obviously we can double up the labors. So in the back of the training manual, we've already published details on dozens of
You can't do 12
variations.
laps between labors. They're going to lose count.
Yeah, well, obviously it might be. The idea is that it's 12 laps, but that would be a 4.8K. So it would be done over a trail course, for example. So you could do it on a track, but it would be
why not just do 12
back to back
dozens? Yeah, why not just do
12 deadly dozens back to, well, they could do.
Just
that's another version. Well, you could just.
I come in with good ideas. That's what I do.
Yeah,
but like I said,
fantastic.
Wouldn't it be called the gross? Isn't that what they said in Hobbit? 144. That's a gross.
That's true. Very good. I like the Tolkien knowledge there. Yeah, that's bob on. Hobbit
All
lore.
I know about UK is Tolkien and Top Gear. That's it.
Yeah.
Have you listened to my podcast with Jason? Do you know he's beyond like the normal fandom of hobbits. He's like,
oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. Like if you look, wait there, they might not be able to see it, but that's first edition Silmarillion, all the history of Middle Earth,
all right,
everything. So, yeah, I've read the Silmarillion 7 or 8 times probably.
I'm not that big a geek, but I have actually built an Uruk-hai sword as a gift for my brother-in-law.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've got a few swords. I've got most of the swords from Lord of the Rings on the wall behind me.
There you go.
And I like the old Tolkien. He was actually, Tolkien, fun fact, was in the same regiment I was in the British Army.
There you go.
So was Michael Caine and the Cray twins and Nigel Benn, the boxer.
Which regiment is that?
It's the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers. It's like the English regiment, but obviously prior to that, it was like Lancashire Fusiliers and Warwickshire Fusiliers, and Tolkien was in that regiment.
What's this word you're using? I haven't heard it.
Well, we have a much longer history, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So Fusiliers goes back to the Fusil rifle, which was sort of this special unit that guarded the artillery back in the day. We're talking 1700s. They used a Fusil rifle, and that's where you had the name Fusiliers. Obviously, right. the armies in the British Army have, they go back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, I made myself some plate mail armor and some chain mail armor. It's pretty cool. Maybe not if you guys want to attack me with your swords. I think I could fight.
You'll be ready. All right, good.
There's people that actually do that, isn't there? It's like night fighting these days. It looks quite brutal.
Yeah, I challenge anyone listening to this podcast to do what's the average time for like if you were going to tell somebody like, hey, the average person might do a DEKA in like 45 minutes and like a HYROX in like 90. Like what would your thing be?
Deadly dozen.
Yeah.
I think a good, so the best of the best are going to be sort of sub 45 minutes. A good time for the men or women is sub 50. An hour is a good time, but Most people are falling around an hour 10, between an hour,
So,
50 minutes and an hour 10. So
so if
between
you
50
want
and
to,
70 minutes.
so you would have to stay open longer than normal if someone was going to do a dozen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You'd probably do a 12-hour event, wouldn't you? Where it's who could do the most deadly dozens within that 12 hours. That
I
makes
think
the
that's
most,
the way, I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that'd work.
and then
Then you have regular
whoever,
people going all day, but then you stop the last wave at 4 or 5 like you normally would, but then those guys keep going till 7.
it could be done. I mean, the opportunities with the deadly dozen are endless, because that was the whole way it was designed, that it could be variable in so many ways and adaptable into different locations. And obviously an athletics track is just like I've said before, it's a multi-million-pound stadium that you've got thousands of them everywhere. They're relatively cheap to hire. Obviously, some of the tracks, as we mentioned, we've booked the largest athletics track in the UK, like is in stadium. It's expensive, but it's nothing like a convention center. And most local tracks will cost you a few $100s to hire for what is a multi-million-pound facility. I think it's a minimum of £1 million to build an athletics track, and that's without all the additional infrastructure. So it really is a great stadium to compete on, and we can vary it however we like.
Emily asked here, is there a time cap for deadly dozen?
No. So basically what we've found is we've had someone walk the whole deadly dozen and they were just sub 2 hours. So I don't really see us needing a time cap. I think people will give up before they go past the 2 hour point realistically.
All right.
Yeah, we want it to be accessible to everyone.
Dave, I think I'm going to do a DEKA Strong this weekend.
So you're feeling better?
I am feeling better. I'm going to take it pretty easy, but I was a friend of mine. He was asking me, we went to lunch. He was asking me about these things. I was like, oh, well, you should come do one with me. And then I looked and it looks like there's one happening this weekend. It's not a mile. I've done 2 miles. I've never done a strong. So I think I'm going to take on a strong, relatively easy peasy strong, like not kill myself.
I know the miles are rough on you. So what would you set as your time goal for your strong? What would you set as your time goal?
What would you set as my time goal?
We're going to work through your zones here and try to have you not blow up.
Well, I think last time it was the ski that I fucked myself up on. I think that was where it hurt. So I think I'm going to go easiest on the ski. What number is the ski?
The ski would be 5.
Okay, let's go through them.
Okay, so you're going to start off with your reverse lunges, 2 full extension.
I'm great at that. I don't try to do the crazy switch leg. My form's good. So
if you give yourself, honestly, like super fast for the lunges would be anywhere between, well, I have seen people go sub 30, but realistically a 30 to 40 is fast. Well, 40, not so much. 30 to 36 is fast. You're going to go. Yeah, you're going to, what's that?
You real quick, because I don't remember from Worlds. Do I literally start standing next to the ram? Like, how do they even do it?
Yeah, you're going to literally start with the ram standing right in front of you.
There's not even a start line. You're just.
No, you can have your hand on the ram.
Okay, hand on the ram. Let's say a minute. Let's just give me a minute. We'll just round up on everything, and then I'll easily beat whatever we're going to do.
A minute is great.
Okay, what's number 2?
Easy pace. Number 2 is a 500-meter row. And
the row.
I like.
Right.
I know, but what happens, man, and you did this before, I guarantee it, is you went too hard on the row and it screwed you over for later on.
Yes.
So when you rode 500 meters before, do you know what you can row 500 meters in?
I remember when I did that a year ago, I started off way too hard and Lauren was coaching me. She's like, could you keep it at about 2 minutes?
Yeah. No.
Much slower.
Yeah. I want you to go 2:30.
2:30. That's what Brendan said. Okay. 2:30.
Okay. Yeah.
Should I write these on my arm? Should I write these on my arm to remember, you think?
I have seen people come through with cheat sheets before.
Okay. I think I can remember that.
Usually it's just the order of everything, though.
That is correct. My confidence does, in fact, exceed my abilities.
Yes. So and you're going to row 2:30 and you're going to be going, this is too
slow. I know. I know. It's like trying to teach people how to ultra run. It's like, I know you think you're going too slow, but you're not. You're fine.
I tell people when they're on the rower, we should be able to have a conversation.
Okay.
If you can't talk to me, and if you're like, you're going too fast.
Can we FaceTime?
Yeah, sure.
FaceTime, so I can make sure I'm like conversational
You
pace.
tape your phone to the rower, to the handle, and we'll FaceTime, right? And I'll be like, Matt, you're going too fast.
All right.
Yeah, 230 for that.
Okay. What's number 3?
Box overs.
Okay. I'm pretty slow at those. I'm pretty awkward at the box step overs.
Okay, so like a fast box overs is sub 30. So if you give yourself another minute.
Okay. I'm gonna be pretty tired by then too. Can we bump that a little bit?
Sure. Give yourself a minute and a half, whatever. Sure.
Because it's high boxes for the men, right?
Yep.
River.
Well, it's the same for men.
Say hi, River. I got a British guy on.
Well, there you go. He knows something
Jason,
about soccer.
who's your favorite football team, Jason?
Soccer team for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. United. Manchester
River,
United.
We got another United fan. He's City, all the way.
Oh wow.
Oh, I'm trying to go. I was trying to go to a match Sunday night. By the way, did I tell you that?
No, you didn't know.
Because I'm not going to fly out till Monday. So there's a couple of matches on Sunday night. It's in London. They're both down close to
London. Oh yeah, because there's a few places I can take, not football related, but yeah, we can see some stuff.
Well, I just thought, it's like a thing. Like I've never been to a game in England. And I feel like that should be a thing you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let me tell you who's playing. I know we're quick. We'll go back to this in a minute, Dave.
Yep.
But this is very important. Extremely important. Go to my messages. I have so many friends on WhatsApp in England. It takes me a moment. I'm so popular over there. My wife and I are watching a show called Blue Lights. Jason, have you seen it?
No.
Really good.
What's it about? Obviously police or
British crime show, but one of the better ones. We've seen them all. One of the better ones.
Okay.
They're in where are they, honey? Belfast.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe I've heard of that actually. I don't know. I don't follow that many.
Bunch of peelers in Belfast. Okay. The two choices we have. Are you ready?
I am.
Oh, man. I can't. See, that's the problem. Okay. We've got either Spurs at Arsenal or Wolves at Newcastle.
Well,
which one do you think would be better to go to?
Surely Arsenal you'd be going to, wouldn't you? Spurs and Arsenal down south, and
why would that be the better choice?
Might get beaten up by all the hooligans, but the British hooligans. But no,
who should I root for so I don't get beat up, or it doesn't matter?
Probably Arsenal. To be honest, like I say,
hang on. Rivers coming to check in. Oh, no, he's not. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't follow football as strongly as most Brits, to be honest. I prefer sort of the fitness, the combat sports. In all honesty, I never really took to football.
Okay,
which is controversial. Very.
Did you go to the last?
I've been
Clash? Did you go to the last Clash of the Castle?
Clash of the Castle.
Yeah,
what's
WWE.
That?
WWE.
Oh no, yeah. That's not really a combat sport. Well, it is. Impressive guys, but yeah, I wasn't.
Definitely is a combat sport, Dave.
It is right. You Yanks have the Americans and
physical.
So don't get wrong. Exactly. As an S&C coach, there's some of the most impressive athletes in the world, and a lot of them have transitioned to real fighting, like UFC, like Brock Lesnar. You're getting 250-pound guys doing backflips off ropes. It's incredible, but it's not combat sport as in two guys actually having a fight like boxing, Thai boxing, or UFC.
Well, right, but these are combat sports. I wasn't deciding whether it was sport versus entertainment. I was saying a combat sport, and there's definitely combat. Anyway, okay, Dave, step it over the stupid box. 130.
130, and I think you'll beat that. I think you'll be fast.
Yeah, I'll beat that for sure. That's too slow. Okay, what's next?
Sit-ups. Give yourself a minute.
Minute for those.
Yeah. Then you're onto your ski, your beloved ski.
Okay, that if I go super slow and take big breaks.
No, you don't take any breaks. This is the problem. You don't need to take breaks. You're going to go 245.
I definitely need to take a break.
No, you don't.
Okay.
I think you need technique work on these row and skiing if you're having to sort of go quite slow. You know,
My
with good
rowing
technique,
actually is
it's
pretty
amazing
good.
how
My row form is actually pretty good. My
is it?
ski is not.
If you get good row form, it's amazing how easy it is to bring it down, you know, to that sort of low end 2 minutes.
So just so you're in line, Jay. So Matt's last miles didn't go well. So
yeah.
I had an issue. I also had an issue.
Yeah, I get that.
So we're putting the bar really low here, and he's coming back from some stuff. So yeah, like when I do my 500 meter for a solo strong, I row in at about just under 150 for a time.
Yeah, so that's fast. Yeah, that's fast.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
good.
right.
Because it's a massive difference, isn't it, from 2 to 150, and like from 150 to 145 is like absolutely huge. But like I say, once you get over that sort of 220 mark, you're starting to get a bit easier, aren't you? You sort of.
But
but I get that. No, I agree.
You're round 2 of a 10-round fight, right? So you want to savor for the later rounds, especially because the later rounds.
I've also been on a rower. Hang on a second. Comments coming from inside the house.
So my wife, who does a lot of coaching for DEKA, tells all of our clients that the water bottle is a trap.
What are you talking? It's my best friend. What are you talking about?
You are on the course. Most people for DEKA Strong, even people who are not very fast, are done in under 30 minutes. You can get through a 30-minute workout without a water bottle.
Hang on a second.
Absolutely.
First of all, there are plenty of people that say, "Oh, and you don't need any water on a 5K." I do. I sweat a lot. I sweat
like mad. You do not need a water on a DEKA Strong. It is not necessary. It's a trap.
Okay. Can we talk about?
You will not become dehydrated over that time.
I'm so impressed that Rye commented. I have to say, I did not know her full name. How do you say her first name?
It's Riley.
Okay.
And it's true. For the first couple months I knew her, I thought it was Rayleigh.
I just couldn't. It's also small. Like my eyes have gotten worse, so I thought I couldn't tell.
Raili.
Li. Yeah, but Ili looks together. It looks very strange.
Yeah. There she goes.
All right, Rye.
Yeah, you do not need breaks. So
swallowing water spikes your heart. Is this true?
There you go. See,
is that true, Jason? You're an expert on fitness. Is that true?
Yeah, it can have an impact. I mean, I think the biggest key to fitness racing of this type is the biggest the biggest thing you can do wrong is take a prolonged rest period, because it just kills you. Race pace is everything. You know, it's all about as soon as you go in the red zone, it's your fatigue levels are going to spike massively. But if you're getting to a point where you're having to rest, now Deadly Dozen is actually a bit different because we've got like 60.
You don't get to plug Deadly Dozen every time we ask you a question.
Yes, you
answer the question.
Answer the question. So prolonged rest periods, you've absolutely gone wrong. And by prolonged, I mean like if you put something down and just get like what we call like a rest pause method, you're just allowing yourself to catch your breath, fine. But if you're taking not on the ergs, not fine at all. But if you're taking any level of prolonged rest, your race pace is not right. It's you're messing yourself up. And that's where we see these like outrageous times. Like we're talking, not trying to be elitist with like really fit times, but like where you see times that are just like, that's really quite slow for your ability level. They've just allowed the time, because what happens, time's relative. So during rest, that time will just go, you know, during a plank, you might be saying this is the slowest minute of my life. But as soon as you have a water stop at HYROX or DEKA, then that time's just going to, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. So I've learned to pace myself in a 5K or a half marathon, or I've run 50 milers, right? I'm pretty good at that. I do not understand pacing at fitness racing at all. I'm really bad at it.
That's why we're doing this list, is so that you know your paces, and all you have to do is hit these paces and you'll be fine. You will not have to stop.
So when you say, like when you're saying, like when I push the sled, right? Mm-hmm. When I was with Rich and those guys, they were like counting down from 5, and they were like 4, 3, 2, go. And then I went. So nothing more than that is what you're saying for any of these machines.
We tell all the people that we coach, you do not need any breaks anywhere for a DEKA Strong. You don't take breaks.
Okay.
If you pace properly, you do not take breaks. It's an absolute trap. Jason's exactly right. The time just flies by. And when you're if you take a 10-second break after every zone, you multiply that by 10 zones, you're 2 hour, you're like 2 hours. You're more than 2 minutes. Or sorry, you're just under 2 minutes. You're over a minute and a half in extra breaks and extra time just sitting there. That's if it's 10 seconds. So you do not need.
Okay, I'm
brakes.
going to
You
go
just want
back
to
and watch this and write all these times down and get.
I
and-
actually am
and-
writing
and
them
kinda
down
keep
now.
it-
I'm writing
All
them
right,
down.
I'm
for
going to
you.
get it tattooed on here. Okay,
That's right.
so
All right, you're
after
245
step
for this.
overs,
We did
after
the
step overs,
sit-ups, then the sit-ups, and
Okay.
then the ski. And you're going to take 245 in the ski, and you're going to feel ridiculously slow.
why do you say that when it's me? I'm going to
Because you
feel.
will.
I'm going to feel like
Jason,
I'm plenty
am I
fit.
wrong?
Hurting. It's the
245.
That should feel slow, like
Okay.
not trying to sound like, oh, this is
No,
easy.
but it will.
That should feel quite slow, yeah.
My recovery, and Matt, you and I know, like, granted, I get it. I'm a little better shape than you right now, but my recovery pace when I'm doing the ski erg is 2 minutes. That's recover. That's to get back. So 245, you're going to feel like you're standing still.
Okay, I'm taking
Right?
your word for it.
Yeah, you will. You know, I mean, it'll come in later. But so then you're gonna hit the farmer carry. Can you do the 100 meters unbroken or no? How'd you do on the farmer's carry?
I'm trying to think of the DEKA, the strong that I did, or the mile that I did. God, I think we went back and forth.
Matt actually froze.
Oh, yeah, he's froze there.
Yeah, because he pretends to freeze, but that's not a good for pretend freeze face. He just froze. There he is.
No, that was a real face. No, I started getting pretty good. I in 1,000 meters, I do 2 breaks. So I think for 500, I can take 1. It's 500 meters, right?
Yep. No, it's 100 meters.
I was going to say that's some farmer's
Where did
carry.
you do 1,000 meters on a farmer's carry?
1K.
You went with a 1K farmer carry? I don't want to do that race. That's a horrible race.
I think I'm doing a far too long farmer's carry then in my backyard because I go around my house twice.
That's fine. That's probably 100 meters.
Around my house twice, yeah.
Yeah. 100 meters.
My backyard's big.
That's like a little bit further than the long stretch of a track.
It is 100.
Yes.
And it's 65 each hand, right?
60.
Yeah, I might take 1 break. I'll try to only take 1.
Okay, so break at 5, right when you hit the 5th, you're 50 meters, you break there, shake your hands out up top, shake your hands out down below, break for 10 seconds.
Okay, what is this?
It's called the G-Tox. You shake your hands above your head for 5 seconds, you shake them down below your waist for 5 seconds, and supposedly supposed to recover about 18% of your grip strength.
Jason Curtis, without mentioning the Deadly Dozen, can you back up that statement with a fact as a fitness expert and writer of many books?
It sounds like it makes sense, but it's I've not read any data on that. I'd have to. What I'll do in the gym, I'll get a dynamometer.
It comes from strongman competitions and some of the strongman books, some of the grip strength books. I'm a big advocate.
So the way to go is, it makes sense. I mean, the way to go is get a dynamometer, which is just a hand grip strength, and do that and see what your score is before and after.
All right,
but yeah, it's
but without bringing a dynamometer.
Dynamometer,
Have you done that? Have you shaken your hands up here and shaken your hands down here?
I don't have a break. I wouldn't have a break.
My wife has a degree. Wife, you have a NASM something or other, right, honey?
Google G-Tox and you'll be fine, Matt.
Yeah.
So if I was carrying farmer's carry 100 meters, Dave was saying at 50 meters, if you shake your hands up here and shake your hands down here, it's called a G-Tox. Have you heard of that?
No.
Is she competing in strongman or rock climbing?
Have you ever competed in strongman or rock climbing?
No.
Tell her hi.
Dave says hi. Do you want to listen?
Hi, Dave.
Oh, she's here.
Oh, I also haven't really told her yet. I think I'm going to do a competition, an easy competition on Saturday. Just remember, I don't have heart problems anymore. It's a different thing. It's muscular.
Oh, okay.
No running.
So that's Dave. You know Dave, and that's Jason. He's from England, and that's who I'm going to. He's bringing me over. We're doing the event in England.
Oh, cool. Okay. Deadly Dozen.
The 12 labors.
Standing from a sore butt. Referee. You're the referee?
Well, they were kind of arguing, so I was the referee.
Oh, I see.
We're arguing. I was right.
No. Yeah.
Funny. You guys are funny. All right.
See you later.
We're going to put Matt in shape. We're going to get him ready.
But
All right.
it looks like that G-Tox is, there's evidence behind it. So, just.
But then why don't you know about it, Jason? You've
It's
written
not
10
something
books. Why
I've
don't you
used.
know anything?
It's a very specific,
Yeah, more
small
than that.
niche group of people that use that.
Yeah, it's little things like it's like little things like, you know, people used to tell you don't bend over and put your hands on your knees, but scientifically that's seen as the best position to recover in. You know, but all your PE teachers and stuff said, get your hands off your knees, put your hands above your head. Yeah, bending over double, and that position there is fantastic for recovery. And
He's familiar with this
contrary
one.
to popular belief.
All right, that's too long. Get back to work.
Just yeah, but time's ran away with you there. But yeah, that's something that would definitely pro HYROX. I think 32s is a big step up from the 24s for people. So I think at the 24s at the open weight, for most people, you should be trying to work towards. Whereas obviously those that are stepping up to 32 in the HYROX, it might be something that's a really cool tip. Really, yeah, it's really good.
Okay,
That
what's
one
next?
free there. All right, so I'll give you a minute and a half for the farmer's carry, which is a long time.
Okay.
All right,
And then,
but you're going onto the bike, and you don't want to do the farmer's carry too fast because
okay.
the bike. And okay, so hold on. So Jay will back me up on this. A farmer's carry will sneakily spike your heart rate up like mad if you try too hard. It'll absolutely spike your heart rate,
especially if you don't regulate your breathing.
Exactly, and if you're doing that right before the bike, you're going to pay for it massively.
That's what happened to me last time. That's where I died last time, was on the bike.
So that's why you're going to take super slow. So you're going to go a minute and a half on the farmer's carry, which is not fast. Then you get on the bike. And okay, so the bike we've all seen everywhere from 12 seconds. I've seen up to 5 minutes. All right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we've seen it all. Matt, if you aim, and I'm trying to think, if you keep your RPMs around 50 RPMs, that's 50 revolutions per minute on the pedals, you should be under 3 minutes. Or
but if I don't bring somebody with me to remember all this, there's no way. I'm going to seriously I think I'm going to bring a sheet of paper, because that's what I'm going to have to do.
You should.
I won't remember all this stuff.
You should, man.
But if you do a few race sims, surely it gets in your head after a couple of goes. You know, just we say that don't always try and max out a race sim. Just try and do like a steady race sim and establish your sort of numbers. So when you're able,
but I have never done a DEKA Strong before, so I don't know what my time.
But a sim in a gym.
Yeah, even if you just work on the bike in the gym, like what I'm going to tell you on the bike though is, and I tell a lot of our clients this: slow progress is progress. Do not stop. No matter what, just keep
pedaling.
Yes, slow progress.
What about when you let go of the things and you're just dying?
I don't care if you're still pedaling. Keep pedaling.
Okay, I've done that.
You should be able to maintain that roughly 50 RPM. You should be able to maintain that because you've been saving energy up to this point, right? So
yeah, you're going to send me this, and I'm going to put it like in a note, and I'm going to look at it while I'm.
Yep. I will write it all out for you, and you can just print it off.
Okay.
All right. So you're 3 minutes on there. Then you're going to do the dead balls.
I don't own a printer, but I can write it down. Yes.
Then you're going to do the dead balls, which is right after that. The dead balls. The biggest thing you're going to have to remember getting off the bike is don't take a break. Just pick the first rep up.
Walk over to it, pick it up.
Walk over, pick it up, and put it over your shoulder. And just go, okay, there's one. And then slowly turn around, pick it up, and do it again. And then just start knocking them off. Same thing. Slow progress is progress. Do not stop. If you don't stop, you won't be one of those times like you had for the mile. You will end up with a respect.
When I do them in my backyard, I usually lay down after half of them because it hurts so bad.
Well, then slow your pace. Slow your rep pace, right? Just pick it up, turn around, slowly pick it up, put it up, just slowly move along. And we'll give you, we'll give you another minute and a half for that. Which is
what about? I was doing the thing that I learned. I didn't learn this until recently, that you don't actually turn around. You actually just move your leg back one.
If you can do that, great. But your concern right now is that you need to stop in the middle. By doing that, you're picking up the pace. You're moving faster. Your heart rate's going to be more. If you take your time and turn around, you'll be less inclined to take a break.
I'm going to take my time and turn around.
Okay. So we'll give you a minute and a half for that. We only got 2 zones left after this, Matt.
Okay.
That's it. One's a tank then. Okay. The tank. Tank takes a long time. Tank will probably be your longest zone.
Really?
Maybe between that and the bike. Yep. For me, the tank is the longest zone.
I think the bike will be way slower than the tank. The tanks never feel that bad to me, but okay.
Well, then you're good. So give yourself 3 minutes for the tank.
Okay.
All right. Give
Okay.
yourself 3 minutes for the tank. Yep.
And then the burpees.
Then the burpees.
And I don't have to
Okay.
hold back anymore, right? Now I can
You
give it
don't
all,
have to
right?
save anything, right? You just keep going. But for you, obviously, step back, step up, step back, step up, right? And just take your time and go at a steady, steady pace. There's only 20.
Okay. Again, I usually stop like and die and like you do
Don't
25 of them. I usually die at 10.
20 of them. Just
Okay, that's
go slow. Don't stop. Stopping is the enemy.
okay. I really need to come up there and get coached by you, I think, Dave. I need to come spend a weekend in wherever you live. Ontario? Where do you live?
Yeah, I live in Ontario, but there's people near you who can tell you this. There's tons
No,
of
I
people.
I know. But I like you and trust you. I feel
if
like
you
you could coach
follow-
me through it.
If you follow all that and then say, let's add another 60 seconds for transitions. Okay. That gives you a 20-45.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
And what do most people in my age group do it in half that?
No, God, no. What, you're in the 50-year-old age group?
Yeah.
What do you want to know? Like the top times?
I
Or you
just
wanna
feel like I
know-
should probably be double the top time. I think that would make sense to me.
No. You would be, if you did that. Oh, hold on, I lost you here.
Hang on. I'm being invited to Canada. Hang on.
We've got room. Oh, Farm Girl. There you go. And we can do Sims there for you. You can do a full event there. But yeah, the top time in your age group is probably going to be in the neighborhood of low 13s. You might have
Okay.
one guy who can maybe go sub 13.
Okay.
So yeah, you could hit that time for sure. Those times I all just laid out for you are incredibly manageable. I mean, Jay, did anything out there at all seem fast in any pace?
No, not to me. No.
No, they're all very manageable times. And when I tell you about the break thing, and I'll talk about her friend Nicole again, Nicole did her first strong with us, and she took tons and tons and tons of breaks. The next time I had her and I judged her, and I said, okay, here's our goal. We're going to go the exact same speeds, maybe slower, and we're not going to take breaks. She shaved 10 minutes off her time just by avoiding those breaks.
I think I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, you don't want those breaks. You need to keep moving.
I think it's because when one is running, it's a lot easier to manage dropping a gear or whatever it is. Whereas pushing a sled or picking up a heavy ball, you can't really do it slowly. You have to exert, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's maximum effort to do it. So you can't slow jog it, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, yes. But there's only a few parts of it that are like that. Like the dead ball is the only thing that you would all struggle to pick up. And you shouldn't even struggle. You won't struggle for that, but that's the heaviest thing you have to pick up.
No, I've been in serious pain doing that. I do it when I do it in my backyard, I'm in serious pain. I use a rec bag for that because my ball is only 13 whatever. So I use a big heavy rec bag and it hurts.
You just need to go slower and not toss it so hard. Just pick it up and let it drop over your shoulder. Just let it drop.
Okay.
You only use the energy you need to use.
You make it sound so easy.
You can do that. You can do what I just laid out. You can do.
Okay.
Right. I'm sure of it. And if
All right,
I was there, I
I'll
could coach you along beside you and just make sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to find out who's going. I'll start messaging the people up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually down the street from the other place that I've been to twice. So, yeah. All right, cool.
All right. There you go. That's how you get through a DEKA in 2045. Just don't stop.
Here's what Todd Sholo says. Pacing and maybe one breath between each rep. A break would be stepping back. What are you talking about specifically? Just anything? Any of those reps?
Yeah. He's saying you don't want to lose contact with the item, right? It's like you watch CrossFit. They don't want to step back from the bar. As soon as they step back from the bar, it's like that's an elongated break. But if they keep in contact with the bar and stay right with it, the break don't take as long and they get right back to work. So they just kind of
But they do take breaks. I've seen those CrossFitters take breaks.
That's when they slow down. It's when they go unbroken is when they're winning.
Do you watch the games, Jason? Do you watch the games typically, Jason?
Yeah, sometimes I've like I say, we've done quite a bit of like cross. I used to consult at some CrossFit with some CrossFit athletes and stuff like that, and I watch the games, but we don't watch it as big. It's not as big here as it is in the States in terms of watching the CrossFit games. Definitely not as big here. But yeah, CrossFit is really foundational, wasn't it, to the world of fitness racing, and then it transitioned into what we've got now. So it's what I was going to say was it's the rest pause method. So if you're ever doing bicep curls, it was an old bodybuilding method as well, where you do 10 bicep curls and you reach failure where you couldn't do a rep. Literally just going, and you'll bang out a few more reps, and it's just that rest pause. It's hardly a rest. It's just a quick pause and an inhalation, and you'll be surprised how that sort of gets you back up.
Heather White, I was thinking about going to the DEKA Strong this weekend in Georgia, but I might just take my chances. Heather White, don't take chances. Come and coach me.
You couldn't ask for a better coach than Heather White.
Right? Heather, come on. I'll buy you I'll buy you lunch or breakfast
beast.
or something. Come on, Heather. I need you. I need you to be the voice of Dave.
I don't know that you want Heather, though. Heather's mean. Like, she could be harsh with you. She will scream at you.
I can handle that.
And she has a look that will just make you quiver. You'll just go, okay, I'm sorry.
Let's go look at what Heather's time is, though. Just for the heck of it. Let's go do this really quickly. Let's go check this out. Why don't we? Here's the advantage of hosting a live show. You can tell somebody they have to come see you. Okay, let's go. Let's quickly look at this, and then we'll wrap it up for the day.
Okay.
Let's go DEKA Strong.
Mm-hmm.
DEKA Fit leaderboard. Heather, what's your age group?
Heather is an elite. Just go overall. I don't know if she's done a strong this year. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, Heather.
She's hanging around at 13. You cannot afford to do that, because is this the last weekend or there's 2 more weeks?
2 more weekends. So there's this weekend and the next.
Yeah.
And there will
Heather,
be
you can't risk it at 13. Lauren Griffith is going to drop another time. Jareen, Katie Duke, all these people are going to drop another time on you. Winkleman, Alex Walker, Alondra. You got to show up. I'll message you after. Get your ass to Canada this weekend. The dollar is highly in your favor right now.
That's true.
Listen, I will be there for the Toronto HYROX both days. Can't make it up this weekend. Real quickly, Dave, I just saw there's a 30 for 30 about the riot after the Vancouver hockey Stanley Cup. It's called "I'm Just Here for the Riot."
Mm-hmm.
I was going to start that. You are rolling your eyes. Why are you rolling your eyes?
It was an idiotic move by idiotic fans.
But that's why it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, sure, watch it, but it was just, yeah. Sadly, it gave Vancouver fans a horrible reputations for years, and I think it was another case of the minority of the fans doing the majority of the problems.
Well, that's always how it is. Well, listen, let's wrap up this week's episode.
I do want to say one thing before we go, if that's okay.
Yes.
Obviously, this weekend my phone had blown up like never before.
I can imagine.
With unbelievable amounts of positive support. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, and I will do my absolute best to try to improve things and to help make the product even better. And I can't, like I said, I can't relate the good feels I got and just how awesome everybody made me feel. Thank you very much. And I can never thank you enough. Other than that, if you are sloppy on your reps, I will no rep you for sure.
You could have let off with that, Dave. I could have let you make a statement at the top.
I know, but I just want people to know, like, it was unbelievable. Like, the phone just went nuts, absolutely crazy, and like, I mean, the internet is a negative place. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, and nothing but positive from everybody that had something to say, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure that this will change after I ruffle a few feathers and some people get upset and stuff like that. But I appreciate it on the block, and thank you very much.
Well, I know you wanted me to say this part and save it for the end. And so that Dave is going to be launching additional content. It's called an Only Rams account. So you can copy it and check out his Jason Curtis, founder of the Deadly Dozen. Thank you for joining. I am coming over, so you're going to be hearing a lot more about the Deadly Dozen from me. I'm very excited, and perhaps bringing over here to the States myself, which will be even better. Lori says Dave's the best. Lori, Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for joining. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.